Welcome to our channel, where we share stories of resilience and transformation. Today, we have an incredibly powerful tale to share, the story of Nadia, a woman who overcame a troubled past to forge a new path. Born into instability and violence, Nadia found herself trapped in a cycle of crime and incarceration. But behind bars, she discovered an inner strength she never knew she possessed. Through grit, determination, and unexpected allies, Nadia emerged from her darkest moments transformed. Before we start, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next videos. Nadia was born in a small town in Eastern Europe, her earliest memories clouded by uncertainty and change. By the age of 10, she found herself living with a group of travelers, far from her birthplace and biological family. Life with the travelers was chaotic and often dangerous. As a young child, Nadia was expected to contribute to the group's activities, some of which were illegal. She recalls being sent out to make deliveries and exchanges, not fully comprehending the nature of what she was handling. The travelers took advantage of her youth, knowing that if caught, she would likely be released without serious consequences. This is just how life is, Nadia thought to herself. It was the only world she knew, and she had no reason to question it. The constant movement, the hushed conversations, the tense encounters with strangers, all of it seemed normal to her young mind. As she grew older, Nadia began to sense that something wasn't right about her situation. She longed for stability and a different kind of life. At 16, she saw an opportunity to escape when she met Victor, a young man from outside the traveler community. They quickly formed a relationship, and Nadia agreed to marry him, hoping it would be her ticket to a better life. However, Nadia soon discovered that she had jumped from one difficult situation into another. Victor struggled with substance abuse issues, and their relationship was tumultuous from the start. Despite this, Nadia clung to the hope that things would improve. When she became pregnant at 18, she believed the baby would be the catalyst for positive change in their lives. "This will change everything," Nadia told herself as she patted her growing belly. "Victor will get clean, and we'll be a real family." But the reality was far from Nadia's dreams. Victor's promises to quit using remained unfulfilled, and his behavior became increasingly erratic and violent. Nadia found herself trapped once again, this time with a newborn son to protect. As her son Alexei grew from an infant to a toddler, Nadia's determination to break free from her circumstances grew stronger. She knew she had to create a better life for herself and her child, but she felt ill-equipped to navigate the world of legitimate employment and self-sufficiency. In a moment of desperation, Nadia made a fateful decision. Drawing on her connections from her past, she arranged to obtain a quantity of illegal substances, planning to sell them and use the money to start a new life. It was a risky plan, born of limited options and a fierce desire for change. "Just this once," Nadia whispered to herself as she made the exchange. "This is my way out." Fate, however, had other plans. Before Nadia could set her plan in motion, she was apprehended by law enforcement. The quantity of illegal substances in her possession led to serious charges, and Nadia found herself facing a lengthy prison sentence. The day of her sentencing was etched into Nadia's memory. As she stood before the judge, her heart pounding, she couldn't help but think of little Alexei, barely 2 years old, who would now grow up without his mother. The judge's words fell like hammer blows. 5 years in a women's correctional facility. Nadia's journey through the prison system was a crash course in survival and self-discovery. The initial shock of incarceration was overwhelming. The loud clanging of metal doors, the harsh voices of guards, the suspicious glances from fellow inmates. Everything seemed designed to break her spirit. In those early days, Nadia cried herself to sleep each night, her thoughts constantly returning to Alexei. She wondered if he would remember her, if he would understand why she was gone. The guilt and longing were almost unbearable. As weeks turned into months, Nadia began to adapt to her new reality. She learned the unwritten rules of prison life, navigating the complex social dynamics among the inmates. She witnessed acts of kindness and cruelty, forged unexpected friendships, and discovered inner strength she never knew she possessed. One of the most challenging aspects of prison life was the lack of privacy. Nadia, who had always valued her independence, now found herself constantly surrounded by others. Every moment of her day was observed and regulated, from the early morning wake-up call to lights out at night. Despite the hardships, Nadia was determined to make the most of her time. She enrolled in every educational program available, earning her high school equivalency and taking vocational courses. For the first time in her life, she experienced the satisfaction of academic achievement. "I can't change my past," Nadia told herself, "but I can shape my future." As the years passed, Nadia's perspective on life began to shift. She reflected on the choices that had led her to this point, gaining insights into her own behavior and motivations. Through counseling sessions and conversations with fellow inmates, she started to confront the traumas of her past and envision a different future for herself. One of the most transformative experiences for Nadia was her work in the prison's garden program. Tending to plants, watching them grow and flourish under her care, gave her a sense of purpose and hope. It was a tangible reminder that growth and change were possible, even in the most unlikely circumstances. Throughout her sentence, Nadia's thoughts often turned to Alexei. She wrote him letters, even though he was too young to read them, pouring out her love, her regrets, and her hopes for their future together. These letters became a lifeline for Nadia, a way to maintain her connection to the outside world and to the role of mother she longed to reclaim. As her release date approached, Nadia felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. She had changed so much during her time in prison. Would she be able to navigate life on the outside? The world had continued to move forward without her, and she worried about how she would fit back into it. The day of her release was surreal. As Nadia stepped outside the prison gates, the sun on her face and the open sky above her, she felt a rush of emotions: joy, fear, and an overwhelming sense of possibility. Nadia's re-entry into society was not without its challenges. She found herself in a halfway house, surrounded by other women trying to rebuild their lives after incarceration. The structure and support provided by the program were crucial as Nadia learned to navigate the complexities of life on the outside. Finding employment proved to be one of the biggest hurdles. Nadia's criminal record closed many doors, and she faced rejection after rejection. But she persevered, drawing on the resilience she had developed in prison. Finally, she secured a position at a local garden center, her experience from the prison garden program proving invaluable. As Nadia worked to establish herself, her thoughts constantly returned to Alexei. Now 7 years old, he had spent most of his life without her. Nadia's ex-mother-in-law had been caring for him, and while grateful for this, Nadia yearned to reconnect with her son. Their first meeting was filled with nervous anticipation. Alexei, a quiet boy with serious eyes, regarded Nadia with a mix of curiosity and wariness. Nadia's heart ached at the distance between them, but she was determined to bridge it, no matter how long it took. "I know I've missed so much," Nadia told him gently, "but I'm here now, and I want to be part of your life, if you'll let me." Over time, through consistent visits and shared activities, Nadia and Alexei began to forge a relationship. It wasn't always easy. There were awkward silences, misunderstandings, and moments of frustration on both sides. But there were also breakthroughs. The first time Alexei reached for her hand, the day he called her Mom without hesitation, the afternoon they spent laughing together over ice cream cones. As Nadia worked to rebuild her relationship with Alexei, she also focused on personal growth. She continued her education, taking night classes at a community college. She became involved in support groups for formerly incarcerated individuals, finding strength in shared experiences and offering encouragement to others facing similar challenges. Nadia's journey of self-discovery led her to explore new interests and passions. She discovered a talent for creating handmade jewelry, finding solace and expression in working with her hands. What began as a hobby soon developed into a small business, with Nadia selling her creations at local craft fairs and online. As her confidence grew, Nadia began to speak publicly about her experiences, hoping to raise awareness about the challenges faced by individuals re-entering society after incarceration. She advocated for programs to support education and job training in prisons, and for policies to reduce the barriers faced by former inmates seeking employment. 5 years after her release, Nadia stood before a group of high school students, sharing her story as part of a program aimed at preventing youth involvement in crime. As she spoke, she caught sight of Alexei in the audience, now a teenager, watching her with pride in his eyes. In that moment, Nadia felt the full weight of her journey, the pain, the growth, and the profound gratitude for the second chance she had been given. Nadia's life was far from perfect. She still faced challenges and setbacks, moments of self-doubt and regret. But she had learned to face these obstacles with resilience and hope, drawing strength from the relationships she had rebuilt and the new purpose she had found. As she looked toward the future, Nadia felt a sense of cautious optimism. She had plans to expand her jewelry business, dreams of owning her own home, and a deepening commitment to advocacy work. Most importantly, she had a growing relationship with Alexei, built on honesty, forgiveness, and a shared determination to move forward together. Nadia's story was one of transformation, from a lost child caught in a cycle of poverty and crime to a woman who had found her voice and her place in the world. It was a testament to the power of second chances, the importance of support systems, and the human capacity for change and growth. As she fell asleep each night, Nadia no longer dwelled on the mistakes of her past. Instead, she focused on the possibilities that lay ahead, grateful for the journey that had brought her to this point, and hopeful for the chapters yet to be written. If you're inspired by Nadia's journey, be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting narratives that will touch your heart.